All right, then here we go. We are doing the 65th episode here on Breaking the Base, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the best and worst vampire movies slash TV shows. Now, if you hadn't joined us for the first half of what we usually do, what we did tonight for the 64th episode, we talked about nothing but vampires, what we liked about them, what we didn't like, different types, different, origin story. We just jumped into like the different abilities and just everything. But in this one, we're going to be a little bit more specific. We're going to talk about, television shows that we like with vampires, some we don't like with vampires, movies, what we didn't like, well, all right, who did pretty good performances as a vampire. We're just going to jump into the nitty gritty of this stuff. With me here today, again, we have Ken. He is on the scene and he is ready to get down to business.
Wow. Oddly, for the last 40 seconds, I wasn't even in the room. Like I got dropped out of our conference call there, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, come on, get back on. Maybe I can get back in the room. Holy crud. Well, that was a good introduction.
I just wanted to, it looks like it's two of you on the screen. That's cool.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. I mean, I literally, you were starting. I looked over for a second to grab some water. It came back and it said, signed out. I went, what? I didn't even touch anything. So I guess Google doesn't like me or anything. I guess they didn't want me to talk about the twinkle, sparkly vampires tonight. They're after me for saying the sparkly vampires. So best and worst movies. That's where we're at on episode 65.
So if you could, what would be your top 5 favorite vampire movies?
Ooh. I like Bram Stoker's Dracula. I liked Queen of the Damned. Let's see. The first Blade movie, the original Blade.
Yeah.
I do like Interview with a Vampire, but it's kind of reserved because I didn't completely jump into that bandwagon. I like the Underworld series. I think I kind of like the second one a little bit better, and I like the first one. Although, you got more of the story in the second one, really, which was what was more drawing to me. And you got more back in time than more modern age with the weapons and stuff. And number 5. Wow. Trying to think of one that's really stuck out at me. I'm going to throw in, and I've hit on this. We've talked about this for the last 2 episodes. But I'm going to say, Dracula Untold. I
knew you was going to say it.
Because, I just liked it. I like the actors. I like the style. I like the movie. I like the, I just really liked everything about that movie. I didn't find anything I didn't like about the movie. I could tell you the worst vampire movie I've ever seen. And
we're going to get into that. Trust me, we will.
Yeah, there's one bad movie that's just out there I will never watch again ever. I wish I could get my 2 hours of life back after that movie. That's how bad it was. So for you, sir, what's your top 5?
My top 5 will be the Fright Night remake.
Okay,
with Colin Farrell. This part's going to be kind of hard because I like the original, I like the remake. Let Me In and Let the Right One In. One's the Swedish version, one's the American version. So I'm gonna count both of those as one.
Let's count that as one, yes.
Okay. I do like Innocent Blood. Yeah, that's old school. I do like Vampire in Brooklyn. Did not like the comedic element of it. I didn't like the comedic element, but I did like Eddie Murphy and Angela Bassett. I thought their story was more like if they did a remake and took all the comedy out of it, it would have been a better movie.
Okay.
And I will go ahead and say You know what? I was gonna say Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I'm not. I'm gonna say Interview with a Vampire.
Oh.
Because I think that movie was like the movie that got me into vampire movies.
Yeah, there was a lot of them floating out there. That's more to me, more the we're going to have to use the word romantic vampire stories, sort of, because it kind of falls into the classic vampire genre. With Anne Rice writing the books and everything, and she gets pretty detailed in some of her books. If you've ever read any Anne Rice books, it gets pretty interesting. But it gets you into the romantic romance and the elegance and the period of time that we see in at least in the movie. The book's a lot more in depth and gives you a lot more. Obviously, a book is more detailed than a movie is. So, but yes, that was one of the ground. That was more of the. I think that was one of the groundbreaking movies that brought in like our sparkly vampires and our.
I think what it was, aside from Bram Stoker's, I think they both show vampires with more personality.
Yeah, there's more humanity in them.
Yeah.
Or what we would consider humanity, I guess, because vampires really don't have. I mean, there's really no saying which one is which. I mean, really. Because you've seen the raw monster, blood sucking, just that's all. Blood killing, eating machine. To the let's just kind of stay and live in happiness with the humans, and just and make sparkly babies. It's there's so much in between that too. I mean, we've got the action like Underworld, we've got the sort of war romance classic movie of like Bram Stoker's Dracula slash, almost kind of what you see with Celine and Underworld. The TV series is like the originals and Vampire Diaries, and then you got the comedies, like the Vampire Academies, and there's just a plethora of genres out there. And even in the games I was talking about, I was trying to remember the name of that series that was out there where they had the 5 classes of vampires. Bruja was the gangsters.
Bruja?
Yeah. Requiem, I think is what it was, or Vampire the Masquerade. I think that's what it is.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure, but I think I know what you're talking about.
It was kind of like a game, and in the book, 5 classes of vampires. Some were, like street thugs. You had kind of like the mafia leadership. You had the artisans and the musicians and the beautiful people, basically. You had the Nosferatu, which were the more jagged, evil-looking, classic movie monsters. And each had, their own set of rules, but they all kind of fell under one big
hierarchy.
And it was a trippy series because they didn't have all the, some of them had a vulnerability, some of them didn't. It's just all balanced. And I think the Masquerade was like a code to keep them from being seen or being known. So it was very interesting because they did it as a society. It wasn't just an individual or a small coven. It was or not coven. What's the vampire term? Not hive.
I think it is coven.
Come on, is it coven?
I don't know about that one. I think witches are in a coven too. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a term for it, but anyway, you would think that you know what your subject matter is when we're talking, but no, we can't do that. Why would we even come up with something along those lines? How dare we do that? So it was a very interesting storyline, and you see some of them are like family, like we see Vampire Diaries, which is a group of family. We see that in the sparkly vampire movies. And then we have just a single powerhouses like Bram Stoker's Dracula, where you just have Dracula himself and some minor minions in there. So you got a little bit of everything going on.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this then. Okay. We named our top 5 favorites. Okay.
Yes.
What are your top 5 worst?
Number 1 is a movie called Forsaken.
put that
Horrible,
on the list.
stupid, god awful movie. Do not waste your time. Please do not waste your time. It is bad. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of some really just crappy movies I've seen.
Well, while you think, I'll go ahead and drop down my 5.
Yeah, you throw yours out there because I've watched a lot, and some I just don't give a two hoots about, and some are like okay, they're kind of in between. They're not that really good and not that really bad. But far away, sir, far away.
A girl walks home alone at night. That was a stupid movie. It could have been so much. It could have revolutionized the face of vampirism as we see it on the big screen. But it was that movie was stupid. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I know everybody loves that movie. I don't. I hate it.
Oh, I'm dying.
Yeah, damn it. I was like, really?
Did you even realize that was Pee Wee Herman?
That's him for real? You know what? Now
yeah, that was Pee Wee Herman.
I can't see it.
Yep, that was Paul Rubens'
The only
Return
part about
to the
that
World.
movie, the only thing I like about that movie remotely is the guy that played the vampire. The Count.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about.
That's the only reason. That's the only person I like in the movie. Also, the movie Dracula 3000. Hated it. I didn't like. I'm sorry, I didn't like the first Fright movie. I know everybody loves that movie, but I don't. I went back and watched it, and I was like, really? Why would he do that? That doesn't make sense. And I liked about the movie was the guy that played the vampire. He did a great job. And then last but not least, I guess you could say I was going to crap on Blackula, but I only seen it that one time. That was years ago. But I'm going to go with Once Bitten.
What? The one with Mr. Tan?
Jim Carrey?
Oh no, sorry, wrong movie. I had a different mindset there. Yes,
it was a vampire comedy.
Isn't it? Wasn't he in another movie? He was trying to think he was a vampire, not the comedy. What was that movie? Hang on. It was kind of a weird movie. It was very strange.
You talking about with Jim Carrey in it?
Yes. It was very weird.
Was it serious?
It was kind of like trying to be a serious role, but he
the only other serious movie I've seen him in like that was Number 23.
Oh, it was a crazy movie too. I'm pretty sure I thought it was Jim Carrey because he thought he was a vampire, but he really wasn't. And even though a vampire was making him think he was, it was a woman vampire.
Yeah, that's it. That's Once Bitten.
Does he end up dying at the end with the couch?
No, he didn't die.
Okay, that was more of a comedy then.
Yeah, it was like some parts he was acting like he was a vampire, even though he wasn't a vampire.
Yeah, that's more of a comedy one. Now this one is like a little bit more of a serious role. It was kind of, I mean, it was just freaking weird. And he thought he was a vampire. He ended up killing some girl because he thought he bit her, and then she bled to death, and it was kind of crazy. I was pretty sure it was Jim Carrey. It was very crazy. I could be wrong. I may be the wrong actor, but I was like, what the heck was going on?
That's the only vampire I know him from. So he might have had another one, not sure.
Yeah, now it's going to bug me. I'm going to be like, what the heck is that movie he was in? Because there was a lot of corny, like a lot of movies in the 80s, vampire movies and stuff, like Leslie Nielsen did some.
Dracula Dead and Loved It.
Yeah,
One of
and they
my
were
favorites.
funny.
I love that one.
All the crazy stuff. He loses his teeth. It was kind of crazy.
It was stupid, but it was Leslie Nielsen knows how to just bring it, man.
I love his movies. But
Yeah,
you
that
ever
man
see
is
Leslie
good.
Nielsen in like a very serious movie, like back in what was that movie? Forbidden Planet, classic sci-fi.
No, I hadn't seen it.
You need to see that. You'd be like, what? Oh, hang on. I remember I said I think it was a different actor.
Yeah.
I think I just found it. Hang on. Oh, crap. I thought I just found it. And it wasn't Jim Carrey. I think it's Nicolas Cage. Vampire's Kiss. That's the name of the movie.
Oh, okay. Wait, Nicholas. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think that's the movie.
I think that's actually it, man.
Yeah, because it was bad. I mean, it was just unusual and just weird. And it's supposed to be a comedy, but it just got very weird. Yep, that's him. That was it. Yeah, he just goes all kind of weird in it and just crazy movies. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. Vampire's Kiss. Add that to my list of Forsaken in that movie. Definitely not on that list. Very
Do you
unusual.
have any more?
I was trying to think of something that was just really bad, but I mean, I'm not too big of a fan of the Twilight series. And then everyone's gonna say, "Oh, you're a hater. You're a hater." There's some things I like about it. I just don't like sparkly vampires. But I don't really hate the movie. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just in my realm of vampire movies of what I expect. There is some cool stuff about it we talked about in the last hour.
Yeah.
And things that were very neat about it, but then there's some things that I just don't like, and I don't like sparkly vampires. That's all there is. That's all I got to say. I just don't like sparkly vampires. I can't help it. It's just I can't help it. There's been a couple questionable movies, like earlier we were talking about Rise of the Blood Hunter, which had Lucy Liu in it, which is another kind of. It's not bad. Follow along with the standard vampire lore that you're used to. It is interesting.
Yeah.
It has some twists in it. It's kind of slow paced. It's not a bad movie. I wouldn't throw it in a trash can. I mean, if you have the time, it's worth watching. It's just a little bit different, but it's a good movie, or a good decent movie. I mean, I would DVD rent it if that gives you an idea. If we have such things anymore of DVD rentals. But I can't think of it. I mean, if I see them, I'll be like, "Oh man, that's god awful. Don't watch that." Life Force, that's another one. Life Force. We were talking about space vampires, and the difference. Life Force was an early '80s movie about space vampires, which is actually the original book it was based off of. Believe it or not, it was actually called Space Vampires. It is not. It's an '80s movie. Keep that in mind. It has some interesting visual effects. Most of the movie is geared towards teenage boys and eye candy. I will leave it at that. But it has an interesting concept. It wasn't outstandingly horribly bad, but it wasn't, top-notch really good either. So, I mean, I'm going to put that in kind of my maybe category, but it's an interesting watch if you want to see something different, just like Hunter Rising or Rise of the Blood Hunter. That's all I could think of off the top of my head. I mean, I would have to pull up vampire movies and just go through them one by one that I've watched and say, okay, that movie was good or that movie really, really sucked. Because I've seen a lot of movies and sometimes it's just not easy to throw down something real quick off the top of your head. Sad. It's very sad. Kindred the Embraced is a TV series I was thinking of.
I want to ask you this. TV shows. Name me 3. Well, I don't know if you could name. I'll say 5. I'll try to go for 5. Could you at least name 5 TV shows with vampires in it that you just love?
Some I love, some I like. One of them I was just talking about was Kindred the Embraced. It's based off a role-playing game called Vampires the Masquerade. It was very interesting because you had the 5 factions and the different things going on. They cut it short. They only did 1 season with like 8 episodes. So it really never got to grow or do anything with it. But it was very interesting. I watched the originals, which is a sideline show of the Vampire Diaries, which just ended. So I watched both of those shows pretty regularly. Let me think if there was 2 more. What the heck's going on in the background? Go for a couple more. I'm trying to dig through some True Blood. I like True Blood.
Okay.
Of course, everybody likes True Blood. And one more. I do like The Strain, but I've kind of missed out on a lot of the episodes there. And also, there was a series. There was a British version and a U.S. version called Being Human.
Being Human.
Yes.
Okay.
They're basically the same thing. One's just revitalized of the other, but I definitely liked the. They had an interesting concept going on in there, Being Human. So that would kind of be like 4 and 5 there because it's the same show.
Yeah.
Oh. Forever Night was another one. It was kind of a cheesy show on CBS.
Yeah.
Forever Night. The guy was a
I've heard
cop.
of it, but I'm not sure.
The guy was a cop, and he worked the night shift, of course, obviously. And he had a guy named Lacroix, who was kind of like his creator and mentor. And Lacroix was always trying to keep him to embrace his vampire self and not enjoy the humans and company. And his girl he ended up liking was the mortician, a city mortician.
Yeah.
But it was kind of campy, but it was actually kind of pretty cool too at some point. But it was a good evolving series. I think it was on for 4 or 5 years, so it was actually pretty good. And they kind of left it at a cliffhanger, which kind of sucked.
I hate cliffhangers like that.
I know, and you've been watching the show for like 4 years, and then they like can't cut it off. And you're like, come on. But yeah, that would make my 5 right there. Boom, 5, got it.
All right, I'm gonna have to show it. I like. I'm gonna count the Being Humans. Being Human. Yeah. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. True Blood. From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. And I can't say The Strain because I've only seen 1 episode. I seen a couple episodes of Moonlight, which is actually pretty good. Should I count Penny Dreadful since they did have vampires in it?
You can add that, sure.
Okay.
Then we could throw in the monsters.
I guess Penny Dreadful.
Oh, I mean, I heard a no.
Well, neither was Buffy. Buffy wasn't all about vampires.
It was majority of vampires, but it was other stuff.
Huh?
Well, okay. Well, I guess I go with. I don't know. I could say Hemlock Grove.
Ooh,
but,
good series.
Yeah,
they weren't really
I guess I would say Hemlock Grove.
They were umpier.
I guess it's their interpretation of vampires because they're werewolves. They weren't werewolves. They were something else.
Yeah, the umpier were kind of like vampires, but not really. Sort of.
I guess that's their interpretation of vampires.
Well,
they were cool.
Yeah, it comes from mythical, way mythical kind of creatures. So, but we could count that. That'll work. That would work.
All right, go with that. Do you ever see that show Moonlight?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's got almost the same concept as Vampire. Is that Vampire Night?
Moon Knight.
Not Vampire Night. Because the guy was a vampire, but he was a detective.
Oh, Forever Night was a detective.
Yeah, Yeah, and Moonlight, he was a detective too. It was. I seen a couple episodes. It was actually pretty good. I remember one episode where he was walking through the desert, but he had to have like a coat over him. He was like holding a coat over him because he couldn't because of the sunlight. It was because he fought.
This looks kind of familiar. Yeah, this looks.
Yeah, I
kind
watched
of
a couple
familiar.
episodes of it.
This looks very familiar, actually.
Yeah, I got into it. It was actually pretty. It wasn't that bad.
I think I may have actually seen this or maybe just caught like one of the episodes or something like that, because it looked like it was on CBS along with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, because I believe it was a woman that turned him. I think it was a woman that turned him. I ain't seen it. It's been a while, but I think it was a woman that turned him because I know by the end of the series or whatever, he ended up getting like cured. And I know I think what if we have, but I don't care.
Well, it's like 12 years old, but let me think. I think I've actually seen this, or at least I've seen one of the episodes or something like that. Because I used to watch a lot of CBS TV. Yeah, they had a bunch of their series going on, and I vaguely remember this show, but it may have just not caught my interest enough to. I mean, it was a few years before I ever watched True Blood, if that gives you any ideas. So,
yeah,
True Blood came on, and I've never seen the last episode.
I haven't seen the last 3 seasons.
Oh, I haven't watched the last episode. I'm like, it was on. We were watching it religiously, like every Sunday. We were watching on HBO Go, and then like the last episode played. I wasn't here. I didn't get to watch it, and then I was like, somebody else watched it. I didn't get to watch it, and I didn't want to watch it, because it would ruin it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I've never watched the last episode of that show.
I'll ask you this: which one do you like more in terms of vampires, Being Human or True Blood?
Well, Being Human was still a growing series, and I don't think. I mean, even the British series was only like a couple years old, and they really hadn't established. Because you had a ghost, you had a werewolf, and you had a vampire living in the same house, and they kind of started giving out some of the vampire storyline and like more of the second season and how he kind of rolled into it. But True Blood gave me more an established series. I mean, from beginning to end. I mean, all 8 seasons. So I liked the True Blood more than I liked the other series much better.
And I also think that the True Blood did kind of dive more into the whole vampire politics and hierarchy and stuff.
Exactly. Stuff that you don't see. I mean,
yeah.
You had everybody who hated them, but you had, granted, you had multiple. I mean, the whole series was very, very good and something different and something that you didn't see. Because I remember watching the very first episode where they had the redneck vampire.
Yeah.
And it's just like, as soon as you saw that and it started up the series, and you're like, wow, this is going to be an interesting show. and as the show evolved, it got better, different. The storylines developed more. You learned more. And granted, you had an 8-year run, 20. They did a 13-episode season. So, 13 episodes a season. So you got a lot of shows, a lot of development, a lot of character growth, a lot of new characters, more background story. So, yeah, I like True Blood a lot better than I have mostly Human. So.
All right, Max, this. What's your favorite vampire movie that includes werewolves?
Well, see, that would almost be a dead ringer for Underworld. But
I'm caught between Underworld Evolution, Eclipse, and Van Helsing.
Actually, I'd go back to the Wayback Machine to the Monster Squad.
Okay.
That was the first reimaging of the classic movie monsters back from Universal. And, if you ever watched the movie or haven't seen it, watch it. It's actually pretty cool. It was a kid's movie, but it had a kind of a creepy element to it.
Yeah,
But
it could be really serious.
I mean, it was kind of serious, you know. I mean, what was going on? Because I mean, Dracula was like, "I'm not taking crap from nobody, and I'm going to get my way or else," you know. But it was still kind of like a comedy, sort of like a horror comedy or whatever you want to call it. But you know, I think that one really stands out to being more of the classic, what I liked, you know. And it's an older movie, so they're not, you know, you're not cranking all these visual CGI effects and stuff. I mean, granted, Underworld's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know, even for the practical effects in Underworld, they're impressive. But I'm gonna go with Monster Squad. There's something out there that's odd.
I'm gonna go ahead and side with Van Helsing. Because
that was a different twist as well.
I did like I liked the vampire designs. I thought they were pretty cool. I did like the werewolves. Like, I think those are probably the most most vicious werewolves. Like, they were cool. Like, when I'm watching the movie, I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm going to escape from those. Because you see how fast and ferocious and stuff they were.
If you want to talk some scary freaking werewolves, there is a British movie, Soldiers. Watch that.
Oh yeah, movie. I know what you're talking about. That's one of my favorite werewolf movies.
I kind of rolled into that one completely by accident. I didn't know what I was expecting. And I was like, man, that gave me some willies. I'm like, whoa, man, I didn't see that coming at all. But yeah, that's a good movie. If you like good scary, some great visual effects, and just a really cool story, watch The Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, that movie
has stuck with me ever since I've watched it. That movie has. I always see the one scene where the girl is like talking to him and her eyes start changing, and right behind her you see like 3 of these 8-foot tall werewolves come up, and you're like, "Oh crap, that dude is so screwed." And then, yeah, but you know, we're talking vampires, not werewolves. So, but check it out anyway.
Okay, let me ask you this: action film, best werewolf, not werewolf, best vampire action film.
Ooh, I think Underworld's got that for me. That's pretty easy. In pure action and effects, I think Underworld's got that one hands beat. Unless something else pops in my brain, but I'm pretty sure that's the winner there.
Here listening in on the conversation, she said Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which I still ain't seen yet.
That was a good movie. That was decent.
Okay,
I liked it. It was a good twist. Very good twist.
with the action,
Blade's
I want to say Underworld. But
I'm probably gonna, good too.
I'm probably going to say I'm not. I guess part of me want to say Ultraviolet. The story was kind of, but the action scenes were pretty cool.
There was some pretty cool stuff in that. There's another one called I want to see, but I haven't seen. There's actually 2 movies. They're Russian, called Day Watch and Night Watch.
I've seen Night Watch because we got them here. I didn't like Night Watch, but what I'm going to do is go back and rewatch both of them to get the full gist of the movie. But we do got them both here.
Here's another movie that, going back into the kind of sort of maybe bad movies, is one that was called Blood Rain. It was based on the video games.
That was a terrible movie. And it wasn't Christina Loken's fault. She was, she was in the movie. She was hot, and that's what they were trying to go for, a hot chick, killing vampires. But it was a bad movie. They do have sequels. I am interested in watching them. When I get a chance, I like to give my thoughts on here. But Blood Rain was kind of a bad movie.
There was another one with Bon Jovi in it. Do you remember that one?
Oh,
Vampires Lost.
It was Vampires
Lost Monteros.
Yeah,
Lost
Monteros, something like that. Yeah, because I think that
was a pretty so-so movie.
The black guy, I think, from the Cosby Show, the dude the boy. that played the eldest brother.
Yeah.
I think he was in the movie too. Yeah, that guy. I think he was in the movie too. Lost Themselves, Vampires, Lost Meritos. Yep, that's the movie. Because I started watching it. I started watching it, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I think I caught parts of it on Sci-Fi one day, and I was like, it kind of looked interesting, and then it just started kind of going into stupid. I'm like, oh man, come on. Why you guys?
I mean, it does seem like one of your. It's like one of your typical sci-fi movies. Like Vampires Los Muertos is a sequel to the movie, I can't remember what it's called, 1999 or 1998 Vampires movie with what's that guy? Can't remember his name now.
I know what you're trying to talk about. It's awful. We can't think right. I know it's what you're talking about, though.
I mean, it's James Woods. He was in the movie.
Yes.
As well as Shirley and Daniel Baldwin. Oh, that's that guy. Okay, there's a lot of Baldwins in the thing, but
a whole bunch of those guys around.
I like that movie. That was a pretty good one. How they were actually like working as a team to go out into these, vampire dens and kill them. Like
yep.
I would say it's like a horror movie. That's a good one, and it is worth a watch.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't have a problem with that one because I remember the one scene where they come out of the dirt.
Yes, like
Vampires. I think the movie's actually just called Vampires. 1998.
Yeah, it's called Vampires. 1998.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this: comedy. Which one is your favorite vampire comedy?
Hotel Transylvania.
I like Dark Shadow. I didn't even think of that.
Blah 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 blah.
But I do like Dracula Dead and Loving It. That's one of my favorites.
That's a great comedy.
It is my favorite vampire comedy.
It's a great classic comedy. I like Hotel Transylvania's. Even though it's an animated series, it's still Dracula. It still counts.
Yeah, it still counts.
And it is still good. Because I like when he tries to do the mind trick on him, and he's like pulling his contact out and grossing out Dracula, who's a freaking bloodsucker killing people.
That is funny. And
he's like, "Oh God, put it up!" Trying to make Dracula sick. But yeah, it's a good family movie and it's fun, and I definitely enjoy it. And I highly recommend Hotel Transylvania. And the second one's funny too, because again, you get your classic movie monsters in there as well. So, and we spoke about that in episode 63.
What about drama? Like just typical dramas. And we talked about it earlier. We touched upon it. Interview the Vampire.
Yep. Well, you get to Interview the Vampire. You get Queen of the Damned. You get
Let Me In. Salem's Lot has horror elements, but it does have a lot of dramatic ones.
Yeah. Twilight even falls under that.
I'm a rapid. We're gonna shoot a rapid fire, and I want you to tell me what you think about the movie. All right, because I got a whole list of them, and I try to skip over the ones we already talked about. But all right, you ready?
Fire.
The Lost Boys.
Love it.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Love it.
Okay. Fright Night, the original.
Okay.
Fright Night Part 2.
Oh, the original? Or the remake?
I'm talking like the second one, like the one with his sister, Jerry's sister came in.
No, I didn't see that one. Skip.
All right, did you see the remake?
I saw the remake.
Okay, what'd you think about it?
It was all right. It was a little more edgier.
All right, do you like the original or the remake?
I kind of think the original gave me the more willies, but the graphic or the edgy effects in the second one were a little bit better. Or the remake.
I go with that. I go with that.
But I mean, Colin Farrell was pretty good. I mean, he played a pretty nice vampire. I mean, there was a lot of kind of, ooh, you got me. He goes, I can't come in, but I can make you come out. It was a lot more edgier.
That was cool. What about you said you seen From Dusk to Dawn?
I've seen parts of it, but it's pretty good. It's a
Have
good
you
gory,
seen any of the
gory
sequels?
vampire movie.
You see any of the sequels?
No.
All right, I skipped those. Of course. Well, we said Daybreakers, right?
Yeah, liked it. Good
All
original
right.
plot.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to go too much into Twilight. I know you you don't
Sparkly
like Twilight like
vampires.
that.
Sparklies. It wasn't a bad series. That's the one thing that really just kills me out of that whole series. But that's just the way the books were written. Sorry.
A lot of people didn't like. Yeah. A lot of people didn't like that for that. What about Blade 2?
Liked it.
Let me see. Give me your thoughts on Priest.
Priest was different. It's off a graphic novel, if I remember right. And I like Peter Weller, who's the main character in there, or the main, I guess, priest. It's very different, and the way they try it almost kind of reminds me of Judge Dredd, but for vampires. Does that sound like a good analogy?
That's pretty good. I can.
I mean, because really, I mean, the vampires were, a group out there, and they were rampaging and stuff. And instead of having a judge, you had what was called the priests, and the priest kept the vampire population in check, or at least out of the cities. So, but I thought it was very different. It was very visually cool. I mean, I liked the styling and the steampunky-ish and stuff along that line. I thought it was a very interesting movie, and definitely worth watching. Again, we have more of the beastie vampires in here, but it's still a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
It's Vampire Judge Dredd.
What about Vampire Academy?
Is that the one with the guy from Brothers?
I don't think so.
Let's see real quick.
The only person in the movie that I recognize was Olga Kurylenko.
Okay, no, I have. Actually, I have seen that one. It was okay. I mean, it is definitely a kiddie vamp movie.
Yeah.
Early teen movie. I have seen it. I now remember this one because you had the half vampire guardians. Yeah, so it was all right. It was all right. It's worth if a rental at best.
All right.
Unless you got into the books.
Okay, I'm jump on the TV shows right quick while we still got time. Yeah, about 2 minutes. All right, Being Human. Which one did you like, the U.S. version or the U.K. version?
I went more of the U.S. version.
Okay,
I saw more of the. Let me rephrase that. I saw more of the U.S. version, so that's more what I can compare you to with.
I know I did watch them both, and I try not to be biased about it because I've seen the American version first. But I think as far as structurally wise and story, the American version was a bit better. It felt more grounded.
Yes.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Watched it, liked it, came and went.
Okay. Okay. Again, True Blood.
Loved it.
And you hadn't seen From Dusk to Dawn, which go watch that.
I'll binge watch eventually.
Hemlock Grove.
Liked it. I started late on it, got into it, and I really started liking the series, and I watched it to the end. Very different series, and give it a shot.
Well, shoot, that's pretty much about it. Then, as far as listening,
Vampire Diaries. Do you watch either one of those? I know you watch Pretty Little Liars because I saw your review.
I've actually wanted to watch those. I hadn't got into them yet.
Yeah, well, the Vampire Diaries just ended. I haven't seen that episode either. I haven't seen the last episode of that series either, because that's what happened. See, I got into a series that I wasn't really wanting to. Got into it.
Yeah.
watched it, and I missed the last episode, and now I don't want to watch it. I've turned away because I'm like, I really wanted to see it. I know what happens, but I actually want to see it.
Yeah.
I find the momentum to watch that. Oh, the buzzer. Stupid buzzer.
Yeah. Oh man, how about next week we start the first half of the discussion. I'll talk about our favorite werewolf movies. Best and worst werewolf movies.
All right.
And we'll figure something out. I'll get with you later on, and we'll talk about what the second half is. But anyways, guys, thank you for joining us here on the 65th episode of Breaking the Base, where we were talking about the best and worst vampire movies as well as TV shows. In the comment section below, let us know what you think. Give us what you think we should go over, what we should watch, and what we should, have a good discussion about. And remember, guys, to hit that like, share, subscribe, and notification button to get the best of what we got here on the Narik Chase channel. Again, Ken, thumbs up to you. You're completely awesome. And thank you for joining us again, man.
It's always a pleasure. And join us next week about the same bat time and same bat place here at the Narik Chase channel. Don't be a weenie. Show up and listen.
All right, then, guys. We'll catch y'all later.